Hey folks, Automatic here for Automatic Games. I hope this video finds you well. Um, what I'm doing here is I'm going to show you some more of my solo gameplay. Because, well, frankly, on the 400 subscriber video, I said I was going to strive to do that. So here's an example of what I'd say was a fairly good night for me. I ended up sinking. Well, no, I should. It was a little more nuanced than that because there was a scuttle. There was an unmanned ship. But nonetheless, every other ship on the server besides my own sunk, and they sunk by my hand to some extent. So I figured I'd share that and go over, I guess, my thought process as I engage in this skullduggery. I don't think that'd be an applicable word, but I'm going to use it. So there's a few factors that weigh in when I'm trying to move on a target. Well, really when I'm deciding, and I have to hit some of the factors in order to go. And that's going to be wind, because I feel like, you know, the shortest distance, the shortest amount of time that can be employed approaching, the better. You get right up on them, you might get up on them undetected. However, there is terrain. If they're on a big island, their field of vision might be compromised, but on a small island like this, they're gonna see you coming unless they're staring at something or AFK. Now, third is the disposition of the target ship, and this one was furled, not anchored. So once he did spot me and get back aboard his ship, he was able to just unfurl and he's underway. And he's trimming to the wind. So good call on him here at the beginning. However, this guy will make a series of errors, which we all do from time to time. I'm going to load up chain shot because, as of late, that's what I prefer to lead with, and it makes a lot of sense. And frankly, I'm glad I got into the habit of diversifying my shot. It really goes a long way, you know, to cause additional problems for a crewmate, give them more to do. It's just more pressure, right? Now this is a sailing competition, and I'm sure you've heard me say that in stream if you've watched. If you've crewed with me, I know you've heard me say, okay, now it's a sailing competition. However, he just turned to port, and I would say that was a huge error on his part, because I'm closing the gap. I'm getting the impression he's solo, and that's fine. That doesn't make this an unfair fight. See, I'm solo too. But it is absolutely a sailing competition now. And so far, he's kind of keeping his sails with the wind. That turn didn't do him any favors, but he is minding his sails to some extent. However, he'll lose it. And sometimes that happens with people, especially if you chase them for a long while. They start to get a little sloppy or whatever. Their adrenaline's not kicking the way it had been at the beginning. So they're less apt to be mindful of everything. People peter out, you know. This guy will do that sooner than expected, or he'll turn. I don't quite remember, but suffice it to say, I believe there's another error coming up. Yeah, he's not trimmed to the wind. That's for sure. The sails are no longer billowing, so it's just a matter of me keeping that wind, and I should be able to get up alongside him, or at least into a pit position. Right? I can do a pit maneuver now. Now, this particular fella is an emissary, as you can see. He's an Athena. I think he's an Athena 2, by the looks of it. Yeah. And so definitely juicy target, whether I'm flying a Reaper's flag or not, because frankly, I do kind of want the Reaper's rep. I think I'm 54 in Reapers, so I need to max that out. I've been enjoying flying the Reaper Emissary as of late. That's been fun. And boy, it's paid off too so far. But you know, I don't give a damn about the gold, but you want to give me $250,000 in one go? Well, I'm not going to turn that down. guess everybody has a price, right? So we're getting into position now. At some point, he starts trying to hurl blunder bombs or fire bombs back at me, but that was another blunder. I mean, he should still be on his sails. Those things should be billowing right now. To be honest, I could harpoon him. However, I'm gonna... Yeah, there he is. There he is back there, hurling stuff into the water. Hate to see that. Although I do plenty of it with my cannonballs. So we're going for the chain shot. That'll do it. And then, of course, I'm going to switch to Blunder Bomb and try, even though I failed, I was aiming for the stern of his ship because I had just assumed that he'd go back there and try to raise his main mast. But he didn't. He got on cannon, and as you can see, he scored a hit there. I will not address that hit because that's one hit to the stern, so I know I'm good for, frankly, a long time. In fact, I don't think I'll check on damage. I don't know that he hits me again. I don't think I'll check on it until the battle's concluded. My accuracy leaves a bit to be desired here. Note to self. These post-analysis things, they sometimes make me cringe. Well, that was his second mistake, or his third mistake. So, when trying to determine what's going on his ship at this point, I know that somebody's dead. I suspect that it's a Solo. So, it's uncrewed. It's got at least 4 hulls. And I think I'm going to add insult to injury, even though I really ought not at this point. He's going down. I should go defend those hulls, but instead, I'm going to direct more shot into his stern, which, as I mentioned earlier, you can take plenty of stern hits. So really, this I would not condone, what I'm doing there. That's not serving any real function. And alas, the battle is concluded. And so, we're doing our repairs. And see, that was 1 bucket. Now, I like that I employed the circle, the roundhouse kick, as it were. Once he was stopped. Anyways, let's move on to the next segment, shall we? We've got more to share. So in this particular instance, I've spotted a sloop. This is maybe 20-25 minutes after our last encounter. Not the same guy. This is a different sloop. And I've got the wind on approach, or at least I thought I did. Maybe I don't. No, and so we're going to square up the sails. In terms of his disposition, it appears that his sails are down. I think I'm close enough for it to render promptly, but I'm not quite certain. But it does appear that his sails are down, meaning his anchor's down. In terms of ordnance, I'm well stocked, and terrain, he's on a small island, so he'll probably see me coming. So not everything is going in my favor. And in fact, he's underway. So even if his anchor had been down, he saw me early, going back to the terrain, I think. And the fact that I didn't quite have the wind. And now he's under sail. So in terms of my the factors that I want to take into consideration, this is not a great beginning. And in fact, here I'm making a huge error, I believe. He's turning to starboard, and I'm going to come up on his starboard side. Now, if he fired chain shot at this moment, he could make me dead in the water and get me some distance behind him. But as you can see, he didn't do that. I have meanwhile trimmed my sails to the right because I know I'm going to be making a starboard turn here. It's real haphazard of me to make this turn on the inside. Yeah, I gotta tell you, I'm lucky I didn't pay for this. Because if he were a 2-man sloop, he could have had somebody on the island. Perfect boarding opportunity. And plus, my making that approach under his gun was not wise. So we're gonna go for chain shot here. And now something registered. I'm thinking that was player damage. Now, I believe in the moment I thought that I had masted him, but then I realized that I hadn't. So I come back down and give it another go. And the second time is a charm in this instance. Now it's time for me to begin the Chuck of Norris roundhouse kick. That is to say, we're going to circle this guy, right? And so I want to set up the ship so the circling can just be done by my sloop. But if I recollect correctly, I think I fail at that. And the accuracy or lack thereof here is astounding. Can I blame it on the waves? Yeah, as you can see, my turn, I didn't. The Chuck of Norris would be disappointed. Okay, let's just leave it at that. Because yeah, the whole turn was short of his ship. I didn't circle him, so I'm not too fond of that. Don't know that I meant to fire a chain shot there. And I'm not scoring deep hits, so if he's on repair, then this could take a while. I was wondering when I unfurled the sails, watching in review, I don't remember, but yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do an anchor turn. In a way, that makes sense, because I was so off course in terms of that. I want to keep calling it roundhouse kick. I like that. just because of the Chuck of Norris, see. Yeah, we'll give him shit to do, I guess. But honestly, Otto, you should have put another hole in him first before you did that. And there's no reason to double down jig balls. Triple jig ball. Man, I tell you, I do not deserve this skill at all. I don't know why I'm posting a video of this crap. I guess I'm not getting killed. Of course, you want to see that, just watch the stream. I'll oblige you. Luckily, not every stream, but we have our moments, trust me. So, there we go. We've let him get his mast back up. And I'm thinking this guy's new. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a livery. You don't want to read too much into that, but it's the time it's taken him to, and he's still not dropping his sail, which is kind of amazing. And meanwhile, my roundhouse kick is not panning out. I have to spend more time on the wheel than is truly necessary. And in terms of, like, applying a lot of pressure, this is not doing it. I'm giving him moments of air. And, boy, all he has to do is lower those sails to make it more complicated for me, but his mast is on fire. Again, I think diversifying your shot is pretty damn important. Maybe not against everybody, but an average to good crew, it's a must. Because hell, they'll probably do that to you, And listen to me, this isn't me giving tips and tricks. This is really me trying to just share some of my my solo experiences. Another anchor turn, interesting, but I guess I was pretty far away, so I will condone those two anchor turns, but it's not. It probably needed to be done, but I should have never put myself in a position where you needed to anchor turn to come back down on them. Fortunately, I guess, the sloop anchor turn is pretty forgiving in terms of the time that it takes to raise anchor. So here I go again, trying to set up the quote-unquote roundhouse kick. Oh boy, Otto. Too bad he's not carrying a keg of powder on his deck. With that amount of fire, that'd do it. And I believe I see him in the stern of the ship now. So I'm confident he is, beyond the fact that he's still not sinking. Not to say I've put a hell of a lot of shot on him, but he's obviously seen to repairs. He's below deck doing what he can. I'll hand it to the last guy, though. He defended his ship a little bit. He fired at me. This one, not so much. He is not an emissary. Yeah, I don't know that I condone this action at all. I mean, whatever. It's Sea of Thieves, so I'll attack people, but this isn't one I'm particularly proud of. Nonetheless, it's from the same stream. It is a sink in the end, obviously. So, I'll include it. And he's next to me. You saw him throw water that way. And he threw it towards the stairs, which is further evidence that he's new to the game. But there, I've murdered the man, and he has been repairing, but he does have a hole in his bow. He's also got one in the stern right there. This is what I can get from him, though, the map bundle. And so, I'll take it. I think if I remember correctly, I'm satisfied. I mean, I'm getting off of his ship now. I have no intention of putting additional fire on him. He can, if he wants, he can put out the fire, and he can sail away short of his map bundle. And that works for me. I'll take it if, even if I didn't go dig up this stuff, I look at it as a bit of a token. But yeah, I did actually go dig up one of them. It was crab, so I stopped there. And as you can see, he's thrown in the towel. That was a scuttle. I still count it as a sink because he wouldn't have scuttled otherwise, right? Alright, last clip. In this situation, I had spotted yet another sloop, and this really couldn't have been more than a half an hour after the last encounter with a different sloop. Now this one is altogether a separate crew as well. They're an emissary. The life of me, I can't recall what faction they're flying for, but I know it wasn't Athena's. Nonetheless, they were close to Reaper's, and I wanted them. Close to Reaper's hideout, that is. In terms of approach, and I think the acronym is DOUBT is what I want to use. So it's disposition. He's facing an island. So that's not good for him. Ordnance, I'm good on ordnance. DOUBT is spelled wrong, by the way. It's D-O-W-T. W is wind. I had the wind on approach. I probably could have gotten closer. And terrain is not in my favor, because he's at a sea post, so his field of vision would be pretty good. However, the question remains, does he see me coming? So yeah, I think that's the acronym that I'll try to keep in mind for myself, because those are certainly the factors. Disposition, ordnance, wind, terrain. And I could add an S to it for significance. Like significance of your target, is it going to be worth it? But that's tricky to figure out. Like, how do you know what they're carrying? Sometimes you just got to crack an egg to see what's inside, rather than try to probe it somehow. And that would make doubts, right? Which sounds, I like it. I'm going to go with it. Disposition, ordnance, wind, terrain, significance. He was right there, by the way. Can we see that again? Hold on. He was right there. That's... I said it right behind him. He was cooking. Anyhow, as you can see, he came back into the map room with me. Blunderbombs. I tell you, blunderbombs are your best friends when it comes to PvP. When I see people use blunderbombs on NPCs, and I've done it myself, but I can't justify that because they're so damn useful for PvP. Anyhow, he has been powdered, as it were. He's got so much good stuff that I would have liked to have taken, but what can you do? You can't have everything. Now, I don't want him to respawn and get his flag and get away, because we've seen that happen before. And he does have a rowboat. So, I'm getting in the rowboat, and really, I'm just going to row it a little ways away. Worst, if he back spawns, he could still get the flag and swim somewhere. So I don't know that I thought through this completely. but my instinct told me to get his rowboat out of there. And I threw in the cannonball crate for shits and giggles. But at some point I realized, yeah, I better go back to my ship and get it turned around. And so that's what I'll do. At the end of the day, I went back to Reapers and sold the flags. In fact, I'll throw in footage of that. But there was a fourth ship, and it was a brigantine, and it was docked at Reapers. So that gave me a little trepidation. However, I figured, look, I've been attacking the whole time anyways, and no, I'm not including footage of this. You'll just have to trust that it happened. So he's docked there. I come in and put some fire on him. I did mast him, but of course he's sitting still, or demasted him anyways. And he doesn't make a move. And his ship did sink. And there was no mermaid, no hide nor hair of a crew. So really, I think it was an empty ship that was just sitting at Reapers after people had finished. What's more is I did horrible on my attack, so only 1 or 2 cannonballs connected, and he sunk. It didn't do the scuttle noise, he sunk. But, you know, if there had been any crewman aboard that ship or around and they wanted to save the ship, 1 or 2 holes is not a big problem. And it took a minute or 2 for him to sink, so, yeah. I didn't include it because it was essentially me shooting at an abandoned ship. Still, there's the thought that I sunk every ship on the server. There's the caveat that one of them scuttled, albeit under some pressure. Boy, that was a horrible fight on my part, though. And another was an abandoned vessel. So, essentially target practice. But yeah, if I've gotten anything out of this, I've developed an acronym for whether or not I have doubts about our attack. It's going to be disposition of the target ship, the ordnance that we have, the wind, the terrain, and I guess the significance. But truly, I'll probably attack anyways. Just a question of whether or not I have doubts. Anyhow, folks, I think that'll do it. You know, I might post another one of these. Post-analysis is a little cringy, but it's fun, maybe rewarding. Hey, this is Automatic for Automatic Games. If you like this, and if you are subscribed, I'll be talking to you again shortly. Be well.